Yeah. I saw you were doing something. Someone went over to your subreddit to because I knew you were coming on. I wanted to see what was new with you in your world.
Oh no!
There was a clip of you painting a woman naked on stream. Is that what that was?
Wait, was the woman a canvas, or was he painting on a canvas of a naked person?
No, Destiny was naked.
Okay, first of all,
wow,
she wasn't naked. She had nipple covers. Okay, so I reject your characterization of what was happening in that stream. And that's all I have for that one. Yeah, I was.
What was she wearing on the bottom? Socks?
Pants, whatever.
Okay,
normal,
pants. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, all you mentioned was the nipple covers. I'm picturing this fucking bush and naked woman with nothing but nipple covers.
It's 2019. If she was naked, she wouldn't have a bush.
Yeah.
Don't judge me. I picture it the way I want to.
Okay.
I was just bringing it up because that looked like fun.
Yeah, it was.
Like you painting her belly and everything.
Anytime you can push any object into a boob, I mean, I'm all for it, I guess. Whatever.
That's kind of spend an hour painting her and it's dripping off her tits. Everywhere else is clean.
If you're out there and you're 16, 17 and you're like, man, I really love boobs and shit. I wonder if that'll change when you get older. I'm 30 and I don't know. I still really like boobs. If I have the chance to touch one for a while, I'll fucking do it.
Nice.
I can't wait to tell my my nephews when they turn 13 to just hammer in how lucky they have it that they can watch naked chicks getting painted on a platform their parents can't understand and therefore can't protect them. I'll be like, motherfucker, I had to steal a Adam and Eve catalog that they accidentally delivered to my house when I was 13 and hide it in a fort in the backyard that I said I was building for fun, but it was just a pornography storage device. You guys don't know. You can just hide the app, you little fucks.
Wait, isn't Adam and Eve wasn't it just pictures of products they sell at the sex store?
There's women who model lingerie.
Yeah, they would throw some chicks on there to model it. Taylor, what are you talking about?
I don't know. I remember. I mean, I'm much younger than you. But my family, I didn't have access to. I didn't have access to a computer that I could use. We had one family computer, and it was a very open area. I couldn't risk beating my meat, and so I was 12 years old, and I was into paintball. And I found out that one specific paintball magazine had paintball girls, and every 4 pages was a damn near naked woman, just holding a Tipman or something. And so I had that forever, and I have to go out, and my mom would screen and want to flip through things first, and so I'd always have to rush home, check for paintball 88 or something like that, and get it back, then just go beat off. It ruled. I
remember
I had
one of the most
such a sex positive house. Regular listeners know, I'd hear my parents having sex, make fun of them in the morning and stuff like that. Our cleaning lady
it's not normal.
found all these dirty magazines in between my mattress and my box spring, and she ratted me out to my parents, and they're like, "Yeah, you can keep them." That's how it went down in my house.
That's rude as fuck.
Yeah, well, the cleaning lady was rude, but my parents were down. That's the takeaway.
What would you make fun of them for?
Not
lasting long enough?
No. My mother would say these super complimentary things of my father's technique, and then in the morning I'd be like, "Oh, Stan," and then I just quote her, and it's yeah, he heard.
Do you remember any specifically?
Oh, Stan for sure. Just that feels good. I like it. It wasn't nothing that quote worthy, but you string a couple of them together in a row, and they're like, yeah, that's what she said.
On the contrary, all of this sounds quote worthy. Was there ever a moment where you were with a girl in your early days, and she asked wow, you're really good, and you're like, learned it from my dad, learned it from my mom, learned it. Did you have a moment where you realized this wasn't normal? Were you ever talking, wow, do your parents have sex this way? You're doing it so wrong. Did you ever have this conversation with a girl?
I've always known it wasn't normal. And that it's been a bit of a barrier for me to interact with normal people, right? I don't have the kind of sex shame that probably everyone else was taught. And it's all right, well, yeah, that's one you keep in because other guys aren't comfortable talking about this or that or the other thing.
Just the thought of being a kid hearing my parents fucking. And having it be so clear that I'm discerning their positive reinforcement to one another on techniques.
Dude,
that's beyond cringe. That would make my stomach hurt.
I always had the confidence and knowledge that those two were together. That like I never in my from the day I was born till today, they're a unit, and that's comforting.
I joke around, but that's actually really cool. I actually super respect that. I think that's a cool thing.
Now they're hyper religious and don't like when we make fun of the Bible and stuff. Hi, Woody's mom. She listens to the show.
She does. She watches those.
But back then, when they were like, yeah, porn's cool, listen to your dad absolutely destroy me tonight. Like, I assume they weren't like hardcore Christians then, right?
No. I've taken little jabs at them. Like sometimes when we debate, I try not to use the long knives, but they were pro-choice at a time that a baby would have seriously altered my life. And then once their youngest is married and such, they're pro-life. Like, a little convenient, but
they did it the right way though. Have a ton of fun when you're young, get religious when you're old, and just like clean slate.
They're still having fun. Like, yeah, they're living their perfect life.
Doesn't your dad say like the only reason he doesn't go to 5 Bible school classes a week is because they only offer 4?
Yeah, that's right. You even got the numbers right. Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, but he's retired now. He's really good at retirement. He gets up. He doesn't run anymore. He's 72 maybe, but he rides his bike every day. He's lost weight and he just enjoys the outdoors. Like that's his thing.
Did you ever try to get them back by being really loud with a girl in your room after a particularly raucous session of theirs?
No,
I'll show you guys.
I always,
been a good bit.
I'll show you, Dad.
I fucked up. I really should have gone that direction. Yeah, no, we were always stealth mode. But
all right, Brittany, I know this is going to sound weird, but I want you to yell out loudly, "Wow, it's even bigger than Stan's." Get some jealousy in the house.
That's funny.
Why'd you drag me here?
My mom walked into me getting a blowjob on vacation once. We were on a big family vacation.
Oh no!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like this was like 2 years ago. So I walked out and
seriously
cleaning obsessively. I'm like, well, I hope that we all learned a lesson about knocking on doors, even when we're on vacation. I know you
What
guys.
angle did she enter from? Like, what angle version of the activity?
It was full on. It would have been like somebody had. It was the bed was in the corner, and the door was about 45 degrees to the bed, kind of off up.
Yeah.
So she would have come in and seen, it could have been worse. She could have got a ball angle. She could have got an upskirt shot, but she didn't. She got mostly shaft in her view.
Dick,
it sounds like that's the worst possible outcome.
Dick did it right. Dick said, "Hey, I hope you learned your lesson and established dominance." That's what teenage Taylor should have done with the computer in the living room. Just like, all right, bitches, I hope you learned your lesson. This is my wank bank. This is my space. And
I ended up getting in trouble for it because they would, I was maybe 13, 14 years old, and they'd be like, "Hey, we're taking me and your mom are taking your brother to his soccer game, or whatever the fuck. You want to come and we'll buy ice cream, or you want to stay home alone?" And it was always home alone.
A mix of two. I'm going to stay home and come.
Yeah. I was going to say I want to do both.
Yeah, I'd be just lying the whole way as I'm walking them out. Yeah, I think I'm going to play my Pokemon game or play Legos. And as soon as they go, I'm just like happy jogging downstairs to masturbate. And then,
okay, kids are so bad at lying. This is something that I've noticed with my 8-year-old. I wish that he would just hit me or something instead of ever trying to tell a lie. So the most common one, I don't know, in terms of children, I don't know, Dick, if you have any.
I don't have any. Woody has.
I've got a 6-year-old nephew that I'm very close with.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if you've what stages of lying you're at, but so we have to work on bathroom stuff sometimes. Make sure you always wash your hands when you come into the bathroom. But sometimes I'll wander by the hallway, I'll hear the toilet flush, and he'll come walking out, and I'll say, "Nathan, did you wash your hands?" And I'll go, "Oh yeah, Dad." And I'll go, "If I go into the bathroom and check the sink, is it going to be wet?" And he'll be like, "Well, no, but I like to clean it up with the towel after to make sure it's clean." And I'm like, Nathan, do you think we should go? And he's like, okay, wait, Dad. I'll go wash my hands again just to make sure they're clean. Jesus.
And
stop. Just stop.
You remember being a kid, and in his head, he's like, that was a close call.
Yeah, I mean, every time he lies, I have to think back, like, what dumb shit did I say when I was a kid? I honestly thought my parents fucking believed me. You know, like, how many times did they walk in with me hunched over like this? And it's like, Dad, I'm turning my pocket inside out. What's up? You know, just go away. You know, like, oh, God.
I got caught putting glue like on a kid's seat. I thought I'd only done this once. I remembered recently. I tried this twice. The first one was a fail in kindergarten. I used a glue stick. The second time he sat down and it didn't even get stuck. He just stood up and it was like still goopy and sticky and it wasn't even funny like I imagined in my head. But the first time I tried it, I put it on there and the teacher came in and said, are you putting glue on the chair? No. She was watching me do it, and then she made me clean it up. Yeah, God, I still am retarded, but even more so back then.
You mentioned the family computer space. So back back before everybody had a literal supercomputer that they could carry around with them. Some of us had one computer for the whole household, and I remember so back then computers to me still were voodoo magic. You know, if you unplug a computer while it's on, it is irrevocably destroyed. Nothing you can do will save it. This is true of every electronic device that is connected to the computer. I wanted to now, because we couldn't masturbate in the main room, there's people in the kitchen. I thought, well, what if I just printed off some porn and took it upstairs with me? And now I've never printed. I printed like school reports, and they print real quick. They just come out. It's like, okay, so I figured I could probably print like a couple pornographic pictures, whatever. So I think at the time I was probably 11. I had pictures of whatever anime, Goku, Vegeta, somebody fucking somebody with a monster, and I'm like, okay, yeah. So I'll just print this one, and then I'll take it upstairs with me. So, you know, I'm real crafty. I make sure
black and white or color.
Oh, full color.
Oh, nice. Yeah. All right.
So I push the print button on this, and then real quick, I Alt F4, I clear the cookies, the browser history, and everything. And I think I'm real smooth, and I walk over to the printer, and it's
going to take 30 minutes.
Oh, my God. Yeah. And for like a minute or two, and these are long minutes, okay? It's only maybe 1/20th of the way there. And I'm getting real nervous because I'm just standing next to the printer, and if anybody walks by, and I can't unplug the printer because I don't know what's going to happen to it. I don't know if it's going to be destroyed. You go on the computer, and I try to find a way to cancel the print, but dude, back then printers were impossible to work with. I pushed a million buttons. I couldn't stop anything. And my parents are walking by in the bathroom. I think my sister comes through the room. She doesn't say anything, and I'm freaking out. So I try to rip the page out of the printer, and it's growling at me. It's the feeder is making noises as it's trying to like print the thing. And by the end of it, I've ripped maybe 20 pages out because it keeps printing like half of a picture. And
was this the scrolling kind with the holes on the side?
Whatever one like fed it through the top. Yeah, is it like slowly And by the time my parents walked in, I don't know what I looked like. I must have been a disaster. I told my mom I was trying to print something out for a video game, and only the bottom, you could only see like the bottom of like Vidal's boot. And like the dripping cum, but you couldn't really tell what it was. But print it off, and it's like, I guess it didn't work, Mom. This was one of the most stressful moments of my entire life. Oh my God.
That's so fucking funny.
Do you remember the picture, Destiny?
I actually do. If you would, okay.
Have you ever found it?
Maybe if this gets posted on the subreddit, I've never looked for it. Okay, but it was it was like a floating picture. I think Vidal was being held in the air and being fucked by like Cell or some shit with his like massive tail. Something like that. If there, maybe this is, I don't know if this is specific enough. There might be a million of these types, but if I saw it again, I would absolutely remember it.
Can you draw it? Can you draw any kind of approximation so that the top artist
If you would have tuned in to the booby painting stream that Taylor mentioned, you would know I have absolutely zero artistic talent whatsoever. So no, I would not be able to draw anything whatsoever.
Well,
printing, man. I'm glad I wasn't smart enough to have thought of that because it would have gone the exact same way. I wouldn't have been ballsy enough to do color. Good for you.
Yeah, I like it.
Wouldn't have allowed that. Trying to think of other times. Can you guys think of any other times we were retarded when we were kids? Just dumb shit we did. There's so many stories. All the times I gave my brother a concussion on accident because WWE, you know, it only happened twice. And only one of the times in my, actually, I'm going to say I'm blameless for all of it.
Carry on. So the same thing would have happened if you weren't there.
Actually, that's not true. One of those times he didn't even get concussed. The time that I tied him up and put him in a wagon on top of a hill and pushed him down it and he ran into a tree by happenstance. It wasn't on purpose. He was meant to just go see how fast he would go. And he hit his head. He didn't even get concussed. It was only the time that we were playing WWE and I was practicing the finishing moves in our concrete unfinished basement that I smacked his head and he couldn't remember that we had spaghetti 20 minutes before.
I agree. That doesn't sound like your fault at all.
No, it wasn't I didn't mean to.
That doesn't make it less your fault.
No, it does. It does.
That's not how
kindergarten rules. It turns out like they need to know that when you're playing WWE 1998 and one of the special moves of the coolest character is grab them around the waist and slam them down, that I'm going to do it on concrete. And I'm going to remember the sickening crack of his head on that concrete for the rest of my life.
I mean, who could have predicted that would hurt him? You can't know some things.
I was like 7. But I was built like a 12-year-old.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you seem pretty indestructible, right?
Yeah. Like, do you remember having that like not cogent, but that thought in your head? I remember like watching movies and shit where someone gets shot and I'm like, yeah, if I got shot, that wouldn't have happened to me. I'd be fine. Oh, if I got hit by a car, probably the car that would be damaged. Like when I was like 5 and 6 years old, the idea of me dying wasn't even real. You know, like you think I'm indestructible. Everyone else is just, it's like solipsistic in a way where like everybody's a little actor in my movie. And then you get a little older and you're like, oh shit, like that kid in my class who got hit by a car and definitely didn't damage the car at all.
I must have maybe I'm remembering this in a faulty way, but I feel like as I turned 31 in a month or two, it felt like when you were a kid, you could like sprain your ankle and then like by 5 p.m. you're good to go again. Like maybe you hurt it, maybe you're out for a day or two. Nowadays, if I get out of the car wrong, it feels like it's gonna hurt for a week. I don't know.
Oh, it gets worse. Have you tried to go on a trampoline in your 30s? I climb on and I'm like, why does my head already fucking pounding, man? I sprain my back brushing my teeth now.
Oh man!
I have to think while I'm fucking so I don't accidentally pull something that I didn't even know I had before. Taylor, I didn't know that went away. That you like every time there's like every 9/11 comes around, I'm sitting there going, yeah, I totally would have fucking stopped. I have elaborate fantasies of how I would have stopped it. I think everyone does that still. Like,
oh yeah.
Do you remember that Mark Wahlberg interview?
Yes.
Where they were like talking to him about 9/11 and he's like, yeah, I think I would have stopped it. It would have gone down differently if I was on that plane.
Oh no.
It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Jesus.
No, come on.
Don't hero shame him.
Actually, no, that is a pretty cool thing to say. I would have stopped it. I would have stopped that in the subsequent 18-year war.
Every school shooting, I'm like, man, fucking wish that would have happened to me. I'd be all over the news. The local
fire in library book setting, frisbee style.
I do that a little bit, yeah. But now the plane thing, I think I wouldn't have done anything because my entire life, up the first 30 years of it, if a plane gets hijacked, what happens is you don't get to land at your favorite airport and you have to wear the same underwear for 3 days. That's the consequence of getting your plane hijacked. It ruins half of a vacation. And that's it. That's all that ever happened for like my whole life, according to my foggy memory. They didn't crash the plane into buildings or the ground or anything. They just made you sit there and held you hostage until they changed their mind. So I think
but I would have known something was up, Woody. I would have known.
Oh well, yeah, you would have.
I could feel it in the air. Yeah,
I would have known.
Look in their eyes, man.
They got a box cutter to some lady's jugular, and you're like, I think I could disarm him in time.
That would have been if I were on that flight, because I would have been like fucking 10 or 11 or whatever. All I would have done is sit there with my Pokemon game and been like, this is gay. And that's what I would have been thinking about as I flew into the building, was just how, all the parents were being dumb and panicking. Like, I guess I wouldn't have stopped it. There's no way I could.
How old were you, 10?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was 2001. Yeah, so I'd be 10.
Yeah,
they would have never expected a 10-year-old coming at him, though, Taylor.
Ooh,
they wouldn't have. And by the look of me, I was much older.
If you guys don't know, one of Taylor's claim to fame is hitting puberty at like 9.
Hit me like a train. Like, it's just like
without exaggeration, could you have grown your current beard at 12?
No, I couldn't have done that.
No,
Definitely not at 12. I remember though, because there was this one fucking weird autist at our school that got ripped on for everything. Like he was just fucking strange and weird, and not even like the kind where it's like, oh, at least he's friendly. No, he wasn't friendly. He was a prick and retarded. And he started
because you guys were bullying him all the time. Jesus
no, I wasn't. This is the meanest thing I've ever said about him right here. I actually had him over to play Halo more than one time because I felt so bad for him. I never made fun. Because he was the kid that I always thought, even later into high school and shit, like, I am always going to be nice to this kid. I'm going to continue to be nice to him because if I'm going to be the guy in the parking lot, if he ever shows up with a gun, he'll go, Taylor, go home. And so I knew I'd be safe from that. I was always cool to that kid, but he was weird, and he started shaving in 8th grade, which was like way earlier than most people. And it was like the those like thick hairs that like you can step on and give yourself a splinter. Like sometimes I get those that'll come out of your beard, and he got those, and he did not take care of it. And people ripped on him all the time, being like, you have facial hair. It looks terrible. You look awful. You look gross, fatty. That had nothing to do with it, but they call him that too. And I remember being so afraid of being like that guy that I had my dad teach me to shave. And like all of 8th grade, I meticulously would shave to make sure nobody could tell that I was growing a bunch of facial hair. And then next year, everybody decided it was cool to start growing beards because one of the popular kids started growing a beard, and then I just let it go. And it didn't look great for a while. But man, I hope you're doing well out there, Guy. Last time I spoke to you, you helped me at I totally forgot about this. Last time I saw that guy was like 5 years ago. I was at a mall in St. Louis, and I was in the food court, and I went up to the Chick-fil-A, and I was waiting, and it was a set of like 3 cashiers because Chick-fil-A's are always busy. And as soon as I get in line, one of them leaves, and this motherfucker comes around the corner, and he recognizes me. And I get up to the front. He's like, Taylor, how's it going, man? I'm like, hey, pretty good. And he's like, that's good to hear. Really not going well with me. My mom died. I was like,
that's too bad, man.
Man, can I get a number 1 and a Diet Coke? Oh, that was the most uncomfortable I've ever been at a Chick-fil-A. Most of the time, I feel very welcome, knowing I'm safe. So
safe. Wow. They hate gay people.
From homosexual.